Coming up on Tech News Today, Intel's Ivy Bridge gets real. Loyd is here to talk about the ups and the downs of it. Also, Microsoft seems to be arming Facebook for the patent wars. Cable TV is coming into the internet, and why sheep are awesome. Next.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for Tech News Today is provided by Cachefly at CACHEFLY.com.
This is Tech News Today for Monday, April 23rd, 2012. Tech News Today is brought to you by BigCommerce. From web design to accounting, marketing, BigCommerce provides everything you need to run a successful online business. To get my special offer, go to BigCommerce.com, click on the radio icon, and type in my promo code TNT. And by ShareFile. Enhance your workflow, send files of almost any size easily and securely with ShareFile, brought to you by Citrix. Try ShareFile today. I have a great offer to get you started. A 30-day free trial plus get double storage. To get this great offer, visit sharefile.com, click the radio microphone, and enter my promo code TNT. And by GoToMeeting. Meet face-to-face from anywhere in the world with GoToMeeting with HD Faces. For your free 30-day trial, visit GoToMeeting.com, promo code TNT. Welcome to Tech News Today. I'm Tom Merritt.
I'm Sarah Lane.
I'm Iyaz Akhtar.
And I'm Jason Howell.
And this is the show where we kick around the tech news of the day, try to make some sense of it all. Got some great guests joining us today. First of all, Dana Wollman, Senior Reviews Editor from Engadget, for the first time on the show. Welcome to Tech News Today, Dana.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us today. I'm looking forward to it. Also, because we got some Intel Ivy Bridge news, we snagged Loyd Case, soon to not be freelance writer and analyst much longer. You're joining PC World in a week, huh?
Yes. Yeah, I'll be senior editor over there for PC Systems. So
excellent.
That's my new gig.
Well, congratulations on that. But yep. I know you've been busy going to the Intel Ivy Bridge announcement, digging into the benchmarks. Give people sort of the top line here just so they know. Intel announced 13 quad-core processors. These are for laptops and desktops. Dual-core and ultra-low voltage chips not coming until later this spring, right?
Yeah, they said at the event today it'd be about a couple months before those ultra-low voltage ones, because everybody's kind of excited about Ivy Bridge for Ultrabooks, right? So, but that wasn't part of today's announcement.
And then we had been hearing rumors about delays with Ivy Bridge and some chips being delayed. So now we know it's those ultra low chips. Although the wattage did drop, the chips are 77 watt.
Right. The very high end ones are 77 watts versus 95 for the older Sandy Bridge ones at the high end.
And the model numbers will have a 3 at the beginning if you're looking to identify them when you're looking at specs. This is the first 22 nanometer product. Sandy Bridge was a 32 nanometer product. And the big difference from what I'm reading, Loyd, is the integrated graphics, the performance of the integrated graphics.
That's right. The CPU is a little bit faster and has a few new features, but really a lot of what's in the CPU is all the power management stuff to make it more efficient. They added some security stuff, too, to help with that end. But really, the integrated graphics is the big news. I mean, they added DirectX 11 support, which, great. They added another Microsoft API. But what that really means is that the hardware inside the graphics processor really is hardware-based now. And in the past, when you run a game on an Intel CPU using Intel graphics, some of that graphics work, would actually be offloaded to the processor, the CPU. But now, all of it, including the DirectX 11 tessellation and all that good stuff, is actually done on the graphics part itself, not offloaded.
Now, everybody's got their benchmarks out today, PC Perspective and Antec, Tom's Hardware, all those folks. I'm seeing that most of them are saying the performance of the chips themselves is not that much different from Sandy Bridge, except for the graphics. If you have the HD Graphics 4000 integrated graphics, you get up to a 50% boosting frame rates, depending on which chip they're testing.
Right. In some cases, even more than that. I think that will be less important on the desktop side. Again, everybody's looking forward to the laptops, particularly the ultra-low voltage ones. My understanding, although I'm not completely sure about this, is that all of the mobile parts will have the full HD 4000, not the sort of reduced version. So, and the other part of the picture is that since you're running on these smaller laptop displays, you can run at reduced eye candy, turn down a lot of the detail levels, but you won't miss a lot of the graphics prettiness because those small monitors often don't show off all the really high-end features anyway.
Now, Dana, I know you've covered laptops for quite a long time. Have you been taking a look at these Ivy Bridge chips?
We had a chance to test one new MSI gaming machine. Our review went live today, and we were really impressed by the performance. It would have been great if we could also have tested it in combination with one of NVIDIA's new graphics cards, but even with the Ivy Bridge alone, it seemed to make a huge difference just in terms of overall speed and just graphics capability. It was just a really enjoyable machine to use.
A couple other notes about the chips. The Ivy Bridge chips use the LGA 1155 socket, so if you've got a current Sandy Bridge motherboard, you can still use that motherboard, although the new motherboards are going to have USB 3, PCIe 3, and Thunderbolt support, so you may want to look at those.
To qualify that Thunderbolt side is that Intel said that there are dedicated PCI Express lanes for Thunderbolt when they add it, but it's actually a separate chip that not all motherboards will have Thunderbolt.
Good to know. Yeah. So inspect that when you buy your motherboard. Make sure they have it. But it might be available on some of them. And shipping today, desktops with Ivy Bridge from Acer. Have you guys heard of any other models that are actually shipping with Ivy Bridge yet?
A lot of the boutique vendors are also announced. The guys that sell dedicated gaming systems, Origin, and some of those guys as well. I haven't heard much from the big ones like HP or Dell yet, but I'm sure they will. By the way, one of the coolest things I saw at the Intel announcement was Lenovo was showing off this all-in-one system with a touchscreen, so sort of getting ready for Windows 8, if you will. But the neatest thing about this thing was it sort of is on this swivel, so you can use it as a normal PC monitor and an all-in-one computer, or you can swivel it down so it's flat on the desktop, and it becomes sort of a mini Microsoft Surface, complete with multi-touch for games, or even use it as a slate for drawing on.
Yeah, I wonder if that's the same one we saw at CES. There was a model that was doing the same sort of thing. You just kind of, it was a really easy action. You just kind of press down a little bit, and it
I think it was, but now it's kind of officially going to become a product.
Yeah, very cool. Any other Ivy Bridge excitement, Dana, from your side?
I think for our part, we're really sitting on the edge of our seats waiting for the laptop-grade processors to come out. We heard a lot about desktops today, but we're still really in the dark about laptops and especially Ultrabooks. So we know that news is coming later, but I think that's from our end, that's what we're really waiting to hear about. And for my part, I can't really recommend a laptop to people in good conscience until those processors come out, because it's really useless. It wouldn't be very smart right now to buy a laptop until those processors start shipping in new laptops.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there are 6 processors for laptops, I think, that I read about, but you don't know the full spread.
Right, those are all the quad-core ones, though, and they're kind of, for the bigger, fatter laptops.
Like a desktop replacement size.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, DigiTimes reporting that Intel will start selling the processors on April 29th, although they're claiming the supply is limited. Kirk Skaugen, who is spearheading the launch, told the BBC, though, that there will be 50% more supply than Intel had early in the product cycle of Sandy Bridge. So it depends on who you ask whether you're going to have a hard time getting a hold of these. But chips don't launch like iPhones. They don't just have them in the store and you line up and buy them off the shelves. They kind of get into the supply chain and you start to see them slowly populate the shelves. But Loyd, thanks so much for joining us and sharing some of the insight with us. We'll let you go, of course. Watch for him on Techzilla, because Veronica gets very mad that we might hog all the Loyd case. And watch for you on PC World soon as well.
All right. Thanks a lot. Take care, guys.
All right. Thanks, Loyd. Onward. Wow, a lot of Ivy Bridge stuff. Hard to scroll past all of that. Onward to a story that I know you're excited, Sarah, because, back from Idaho.
Yeah, I was in Idaho last Thursday and Friday, and there was one thing that I found was glaringly different about Silicon Valley and Idaho, and that's patent wars.
Microsoft is arming Facebook, and they are going to take the 925 patents that they bought from AOL. Remember, we talked about that last week. And they're going to give 650 of those to Facebook. Well, they're not giving, they're selling them for $550 million. Plus a license to the remaining 275 patents that Microsoft isn't selling. So Facebook will have the rights to all of that. They will not get a license to the 300 patents AOL is licensing to Microsoft, but they are essentially stockpiling patents in the face of Yahoo, because Yahoo, as you may know, is suing Facebook for patent violations, thinking, oh, well, they're headed towards an IPO. We can get a quick settlement out of them because they only have 56 patents. Turns out that Facebook has bulked up from 56 patents at the start of this year to 1,461 now, if you count the ones they bought from IBM, a few others that they've cobbled together here and there, and these 650 that they're getting from Microsoft. Facebook General Counsel Ted Ulyat said today, this is another significant step in our ongoing process of building an intellectual property portfolio to protect Facebook's interest over the long term. In other words, without saying Yahoo, we're looking at you, Yahoo.
Not a big surprise. I mean, they're sort of forced to do this, right? Otherwise, if you only have 56 patents against, how many patents does Yahoo have? So it's something like in the 3,000 range. Yeah. It's a lot. They have to have some warfare to fight back. It does surprise me, though, that Microsoft and Facebook not being allowed to work together to buy these patents.
Right. AOL
but then
didn't want anyone teaming up.
Together to distribute the patents. I mean, I guess that's just sort of AOL's bad for not realizing that this would happen.
Microsoft said, hey, we got enough cash. We'll cover you, Facebook.
Yeah,
When we come out of the store, we'll sell you the beer. You can't go in with us.
It is very much like that.
What's funny is when Microsoft originally bought the patents from AOL, they granted a license back to AOL. So AOL still has all the rights. They can use these patents as much as they want. Microsoft then sold it off. They also had a license not only to the ones that they kept, but they also have a license to the ones they sold. So Microsoft also has use of it. So Facebook can actually enforce it. But you have Microsoft and AOL having a really large amount of patents that they can play with and use for other things other than offensive positioning. That's the thing. Facebook now can go, we can sue you guys out of existence, or they can say to Yahoo, look, we probably have something you might want to consider. Although I think Yahoo said otherwise to that.
Well, Yahoo said nothing about today's action changes the fact that Facebook continues to infringe our patents. But that's pretty much what you would expect them to say in the light of having an ongoing court case. It remains to be seen if Facebook is going to pursue some backdoor negotiations or apply some pressure. Dana, I don't know how much you follow the patent wars. Do you keep track of this sort of stuff?
Quite a bit. Engadget actually doesn't. We post on it quite a bit. I've personally been reading about it. Of course, the AOL number caught my eye just because AOL is our parent company, and 1 billion is a very, very big number. So I've definitely been following that case. That case a bit.
What do you think of this idea of Yahoo, who's a partner with Microsoft on search? Let's not forget, having to face a Facebook that now has been armed with patents by Microsoft.
Well, I mean, shame on Yahoo. I mean, the suit kind of smacked of desperation to begin with, and this is definitely a defensive play on Facebook's part. Facebook is bulking up because it has to, and maybe it's seeing the light and realizing that once it becomes this even more of a giant than it is, it becomes this publicly traded company. If it wasn't Yahoo that sued it, it could have been another company. But Facebook is bulking up because it has to, and It's hard not to feel a little bit of schadenfreude watching Yahoo get stunned suddenly as Facebook builds this portfolio of 1,400 plus patents.
I kind of think that's why Microsoft feels they can get away with it, is they know that everyone is on Facebook's side in the valley, and so Yahoo's not going to want to make one more enemy by retaliating against Microsoft. So there will be more fallout from this to come.
See, when I saw the story, and we were talking about making this the patent war segment, I was like, maybe this is patent peace. At least that's what I was thinking, because maybe Microsoft's going to be the mediator. You know, they're friends with Facebook, they're friends with Yahoo, they have tons of patents. They'll be like, hey guys, look,
peace through strength.
Why don't we just relax? Because I am your dealer anyway. Okay, I got both of you, so why don't you just chill out and we'll take care of this, and we'll all win together.
Yeah, Microsoft as the matchmaker. Interesting. All right, let's move on to a new announcement from Adobe for Creative Suite 6.
Yeah, Adobe is offering not only Creative Suite 6, but Creative Cloud for $50 a month. That's if you buy a yearly subscription, or $75 a month if you want to just go month to month. And this is really good for anybody who needs access to Creative Suite products here or there, or somehow need just a little extra time beyond a 30-day trial period, that sort of thing. It gives you more flexibility, and it can be a lot more cost-effective depending on the business that you have to do. Photoshop and Premiere Pro are the two software applications that can be licensed alone. They'll be $20 a month on a year contract, or $30 a month if you're just going to go month to month and you don't need to buy an entire year, which for Photoshop can be a really good deal for somebody who, again, needs it for 4 months or something like that. There will also be a version for small business owners, so that'll be more cost effective than 3 individuals buying a year's worth of Creative Cloud. That will be available for $70 a month, and that's coming a little bit later in this year. They think the second half or so. Creative Cloud includes 20 gigabytes of cloud storage for saving and syncing files, sharing them with others. Free users of Creative Cloud get 2 gigabytes storage off of the bat, and then, of course, those 30-day trials of all Creative Suite 6 apps, which includes Photoshop, After Effects, Premiere Pro, among others. There's also another application, a new one, in CS6 called Muse. Adobe describes this as a radical tool that enables designers to create and publish HTML5 websites without writing code. So if it works well, maybe we'll see a lot of beautiful websites.
The modern-day page mill?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
is?
Exactly. Dreamweaver. And, if you look at these numbers, last year, Adobe started experimenting with subscription offers. Hey, we've got all the software. It might not be cost effective for you to be, buying these boxes out of the gate, but you might work a little bit better under subscription service. But they were tiered models. So you had a design premium suite that was $95 per month. Master collection went up to $120 per month with a yearly commitment. No more tiers now. And the $50 a month for a year commitment to everything in the Creative Suite is less than half of what it was just a year ago. So it sounds like they've had enough success with subscription models to keep it going and feel like it's still cost effective for them to reduce the prices a bit.
Yeah, I mean, look at the fact that Photoshop alone is $700 for the base one, or $1,000 for Photoshop Extended. If you do Creative Cloud for $50 a month, you get Photoshop Extended. So if you're going to use it for a limited amount of time, or if you're not upgrading, you're going for the first time, that's attractive. However, it's $200 for Photoshop if you're upgrading. That works out to $16 a month. So $25 a month, then
well, I think it's important not to think of this as a rent-to-own kind of scenario. It's more of a, a la carte sometimes type thing. Maybe, if you know you're going to be needing Photoshop, a certain version for, 3 years, then this is probably not the way that you want to go. But again, it just gives people more flexibility.
$50 a month for Creative Cloud, that's what? $600 for the year. But that gets you everything.
Right.
And the Master Collection from Adobe for Creative Suite 6 is $2,600.
Yeah, that sticker shock.
That's a screaming deal.
Exactly.
That sticker shock gets enough people to go, how else can I get this? Can I go to the Elements version, which is much cheaper but much less powered, or there are other ways to get it, and that's been Adobe's problem. The piracy for Photoshop's been way too high for them as far as they're concerned, because they could be earning money on this. And $50, even though you might look at it on the yearly plan, a lot of people don't bother to do that anymore. They're like, it's like my cell phone bill. You don't really think of the long-term cost of it. Like $50 a month, and I get access to this software all the time. It might be more palatable at first. Eventually, you might realize, well, I could have owned this, over a course of term of years, but still.
But sometimes you don't necessarily know what you want to buy after 30 days of a free trial of anything. You need more like 4 to 6 months.
Or you may be facing Creative Suite 7 at that point, and then you got to compare the upgrade costs. It depends on how long you're going to use it. Dana, if you were starting a small business or freelancing, which way do you think you would go in this sort of situation?
Honestly, I think if my livelihood depended on Photoshop's higher-end suite, not Elements, but the higher-end suite, I think I would be fine swallowing the cost. But I think if I were a freelancer, and if I were sort of jack-of-all-trades kind of freelancer, where I did graphics design project here and there, but I wasn't working that consistently on that kind of project, maybe I would be okay downloading it when I needed to, especially if a client was, I don't know if a client would be willing to subsidize it, but still, I think it would depend how much my livelihood depended on it. I think the people complaining about the cost of the software itself, not the rental cost, but the actual cost, are not people whose livelihood depends on these kinds of tools.
Well, and it's a cash flow issue too, which I know for freelancers particularly is an issue. And if I can say, look, I can budget $50 a month, that I can deal with, versus laying out $2,700 at once when I don't have it. Especially if you're getting started or you're just working on a really tight cash flow, that might make it easier for you to budget for it too. I don't know.
Might be fewer people pirating stuff overall too.
Yeah.
If you have something that's it's within your range, then you'll pay for a subscription.
That leads us into our first ad. I want to thank BigCommerce for their sponsorship of Tech News Today. If you've got a business, you probably want to bring your sales online. If you're not, you really need to. Sign up with BigCommerce today. Check them out. BigCommerce will not only help you build an online business, but make it successful in generating revenue for your company. We're not talking about the design aspect. We're talking about selling your product here. BigCommerce is your easy one-stop shop for e-commerce with great features like web design. They do it for you. Shipping options, advanced marketing tools through online search, social networking sites, and more. Plus, BigCommerce has powered over $700 million in sales for its companies. But you don't have to take my word for it. Go sign up for BigCommerce today to harness the power of online sales for your company. See if it works for you. We got a special offer. It's a great limited time offer, though. When you sign up for any paid plan, $250 of Google advertising will help you drive traffic to your site for free. Plus, you get a free 1-hour consultation with an e-commerce expert to help pinpoint your biggest opportunities. And that's not all. Exclusive sales performance guarantee. So sign up today. Go do it right now. BigCommerce.com. Click on that radio icon at the upper left of the screen, or I'm sorry, at the upper right corner of the homepage, and type in our promo code TNT. That's BigCommerce.com. Remember, enter that promo code TNT to get those special offers. And we thank BigCommerce for their support of Tech News Today. Do it now. On to more stories, and this one's going to bring you cable TV over the internet. It's the Holy Grail. It's what we've always wanted.
Yeah.
Or is it?
Well, let's see if they get sued out of existence first. But let's explain what it is first. We have Nimble TV. They have this plan. You are going to pay Nimble TV some money. They are going to get you a cable subscription. Then you will pay Nimble TV an additional fee to get access to your unlimited cloud DVR. So that sounds like area where you kind of pay somebody to do something for you, and that's pretty much what's going on here. It's in beta testing right now, with Nimble TV's paying for 26 channels itself, and it doesn't require a subscription package just yet. It's launching a pilot program in New York in the summer, which lets users buy satellite service. And it's backed by the Tribune Company, which owns 23 television stations, so that's probably where they're getting their content in the first place. The Nimble TV says it has the same functionality as a Sling box and a DVR without the actual boxes, so they're again, hoping that doesn't get them sued. And the service itself obviously will cost you the cable subscription or dish subscription or whatever service you go with, and another $20 for Nimble TV's streaming. I guess their DVR service on top
per month.
Yes,
another $20 per month.
That's what it looks like.
Well, when you say whatever cable system you go with, you mean whatever cable system will allow Nimble TV to do this, and they don't have a partner yet.
Right. The weird thing is, if you go to their site at nimbletv.com, they explain how the system works. You pick a cable or satellite package from any country, and they'll set it up for you. Then you'll get your own local address, and Nimble TV will host your shows in the cloud, and then you're all set.
So the idea is to have access to cable packages that we can't have access to already.
Theoretically, yes.
No, I don't think that's. I mean, it is confusing what they're suggesting here.
Yeah, because why would I pay Nimble TV?
There is a thing that says I want TV from other countries. Even if I don't live here, if you click on that, that's what you're talking about. Mm-hmm. It says we'll set you up with an address, we'll get you that. That raises a lot of legal questions, whether that's allowed to broadcast out of market or even out of country. If I don't pay the license fee in the UK,
it might just mean no matter what country you live in, we'll find a cable package that's right for you.
That's not the way it's written, though.
No,
right.
But we're all confused
right now,
so we're not so sure.
Because it was like a startup profile on New York Times, there wasn't a whole lot of information there. Go to nimbletv.com. Doesn't give you full explanations. You can sign up for the beta now and see if you can get in and see how it works. But it seems like, theoretically, let's say you're going to get a package in the UK. I would imagine that your subscription bill will charge you for that extra license for television over in the UK.
Well, yeah, but if you're not a citizen of the UK, you can't pay that tax. So I don't know how that works.
Yeah, I would think, is Nimble TV your agent?
I guess what they're saying is that we're giving you the address, so that makes you a foreign resident, but that's a legal nightmare. The simpler part of this, which the New York Times implies is really what the main package is in New York, when they do this test market, they will partner with somebody like Dish, and then you'll get Dish service that you'll have to pay Dish for. And Dish has to abide by the laws of the U.S., so you'd only get local channels in that case. And then you would be able to get that over the internet. That seems like it's pretty safe legally, because Cablevision has done this before with their own service. They've gone through court and fought for the ability to have a remote DVR. So Nimble could get away with that. If what they're saying is we're going to make that New York Dish subscription available to everyone by being like Delaware and saying, we'll give you a local address here, then I think that the networks are going to come after you.
Yeah, I was thinking about this for displaced speed. Like, if I'm from the East Coast, if I want to get East Coast feeds, but I don't have a tie back there, could I have used something like this? It doesn't look like you can.
That's where they're going to get in trouble if they try to offer that. If they respect the local markets, though, they have a really good, strong legal case to say, no, we're actually just providing a service for $20 a month. We're renting you a sling box that's in our location.
I guess that's one of the things that gets me is $20 a month just to not have a sling box in my entertainment console. Is it really worth that? I mean, that's going to add up. That's over $200 a year. Or you just buy the sling box once.
It's a convenience factor, right?
So.
It's sort of the same argument of, well, why pay for remote storage like Dropbox
when
or
you could
SkyDrive
just buy a terabyte
when you could just put a terabyte hard drive in your house and you can access it over the web. Dana, I know this is confusing because we don't know exactly what Nimble is offering here, but
right.
Sound like something you want?
I mean, my big question, and I think this is a question that Sarah was on the verge of asking before, is there any way to avoid paying duplicate fees for cable? So, I mean, I already pay about $75-ish for Time Warner cable service in my living room. So I don't know who the cable provider is going to be on the back end. I know you said Dish would be behind this pilot program.
That was that theoretical.
Right,
I don't think they have anything signed yet.
Okay, so it's theoretical, but a company like Dish, is there a way to... Is it really inevitable that you're going to be paying duplicate cable fees? One set of fees for the cable you receive in your living room and the other set of fees, the other fee for the programming you're going to receive on your mobile device. Is there really any way to avoid those duplicate fees, sometimes for duplicate pieces of content?
I guess the one thing that Dish is not going to like that is a benefit here is I don't have to pay for an extra box in multiple rooms. I'll have the one box that's remote through the service, and so I can put it on as many TVs as I want, as long as I've got an internet connection and can run internet or over Wi-Fi or Ethernet, and I can have it on my tablets and all of that. But you got to pay $20 extra for that privilege, and I don't know, again, there's a lot of unknowns, whether you would be able to watch two different things. If you're theoretically controlling one box on the Nimble TV side. But you're right. I mean, it's $20 is a lot of extra money to put on top of an already expensive proposition as monthly fees for even satellite services keep going up and up.
The other thing is, even if you have your own cable, like maybe your ISP is just from like a Comcast or something, for $20 or this extra fee, you probably could end up just getting television through them and setting it up yourself. I mean, I know the whole cloud system thing, but $20 extra is the cost doesn't seem like it's a whole lot to add to your regular cable bill if you already have like just internet, because they'll offer you all kinds of deals to keep you there for a low cost. So it's kind of iffy to me how successful they're going to be.
And I guess you're right. You don't have to pay for DVR service because Nimble's providing that. You don't have to pay for in-home streaming and all those extra fees. So you could keep it down around $50 plus 20, then that makes it 70. So it might balance out.
I just like, even if Nimble doesn't end up being the greatest solution for any of us, I like the fact that so many people are consuming so much programming via mobile that companies like this are just trying to figure out, what's the secret sauce to make the next killer company, because that's just the service that they're trying to provide for people because we're watching content all over the place. And our it's still slim pickings in that arena, too.
And we will see them get sued. I can almost guarantee it. They say they're not expecting a legal fight, but then...
The company's investor said privately they expected to get sued.
Yeah. And frankly, it's when you read the New York Times article, it all seems to make sense. Nimble TV in my local area, I pay for a subscription through a cable company, then I pay the $20 on top of that. That all makes sense. However, when you go to the site and you see that thing about overseas use, that's what starts to make it really murky. So we'll have to keep an eye on that as well. Speaking of cloud storage, which we were briefly as a metaphor, SkyDrive for Windows got updated so that you now have less storage for free. 7 gigabytes is now the norm. It went from 25 gigabytes down to 7 gigabytes. And Microsoft says the reason they lowered that is they found that 99.94% of the people using SkyDrive had fewer or less than 7 gigabytes, fewer than 7 gigabytes worth of files. I
love the 0.94% when talking about people.
Yes.
Almost a whole person.
Almost.
He's conflicted. Maybe he's not so angry.
Almost an entire person uses fewer than files. Anyway, 7 gigabytes is about what everybody uses, so they said they didn't think it would affect almost anyone. If you are an existing SkyDrive user, though, you can lock in 25 gigabytes by going and logging into your SkyDrive account, skydrive.com, and clicking on a prompt. Now, one person on Twitter told me I don't see the prompt, And if you have 4 gigabytes already, they're just going to automatically upgrade you. If you have fewer than 4 gigabytes of files in your account, then you're going to have to take action to upgrade. But there's some positive upgrades in here as well. SkyDrive for Windows will now allow users to drag and drop files up to 2 gigabytes in size to and from SkyDrive folders. You could do that before, but they've upgraded the app. Similar to Dropbox, all files and SkyDrive content will be managed in one central folder that syncs with Microsoft's online cloud storage. You'll be able to do the same drag and drop in OS X as well. There's new desktop clients for Windows and Mac, and they've updated the Windows Phone and iOS apps for SkyDrive. And if you want to get more gigabytes than you have, whether you have 25 or 7, 20 more gigabytes will cost you $10 per year, 50 gigabytes, $25 a year, 100 gigabytes, $50 a year. So it's actually pretty cheap.
It's quite a bit cheaper than Dropbox, for example.
Well, I went into my SkyDrive account just now because I know I have an account and I want to make sure I get the 25, and I know I don't have 4 gigabytes. It's like 2 clicks. You don't
It's really easy. I did it
very,
this morning
very
too,
fast,
yeah.
very quick. So they didn't hide anything here. They're going to give you storage for free. I mean, this is obviously part of their whole push for Windows 8 because the discussions of Office integrating with SkyDrive being really important with Windows Phone on top of that whole Windows 7 ads that made no sense to the cloud will make a lot more sense now that SkyDrive is available on this desktop application, because this seems like it's going to tie everything really nicely together.
Do you use SkyDrive at all, Dana?
I've used it a little bit. I mean, I actually, I should practice what I preach. I am not a huge user of cloud storage, and I think this is going to come back and bite me one day. I have not taken advantage of it to the extent that you might guess I would. But I have tried SkyDrive, and I think it's a really simple interface and easy to use, just as easy as Dropbox in my experience.
Do you preach backing up to the cloud to people and then don't back up to the cloud?
I do. I mean, I've written those requisite tech columns over the years talking about what kind of catastrophes can happen if you don't back up to the cloud and all that. That hasn't been me yet.
Knock wood.
We'll see. Actually, I use Dropbox, so I can't with for work. So I can't say that I'm totally out of the cloud, but no, I don't use it as much as that you'd think.
Dropbox had a minor announcement today, actually. You can now make publicly read-only links from any of your Dropbox folders. Instead of, you used to be able to only do that if the file was in the public folder. So now you can actually make public any link in Dropbox. That's kind of cool. But pales in comparison to what SkyDrive has announced today. If you're a Windows Phone user, by the way, the new SkyDrive app features a multi-select tool. So you can move batches of files around from folder to folder. Also some UI updates and some new folder permission options there. So check that out. I was not shocked, but pleasantly surprised by the number of people who responded on Twitter when I posted about the 25 gig thing, saying, "Oh my gosh, yeah, I had to go do that." I think everybody's just storage amount hungry.
You always want 25 just in case. Maybe you take some 4K footage one day. Like I have it there. But quick point about the Dropbox thing. This is actually a really nice feature for people who organize their Dropbox. I have a tendency to have a lot of different folders in there, and to have to keep moving files to the public folder, ruining my actual file structure. That annoyed me so much. And so this is this is like, thank you for putting this in here, Dropbox.
All right, let's finish up with new Samsung Galaxy marketing at thenextgalaxy.com. Trying to build up the hype for May 3rd. We don't have a whole lot of new information about what they're actually going to announce, although CNET's reporting that the new phone would focus on something called human interaction, which would be able to tell when a user is looking at the phone and lock the phone when he or she looks away. I don't know if we love that. But if you go to thenextgalaxy.com, you can see a new teaser video, which doesn't show the new phone at all, but it does show some nice sheep.
It seems almost like a big blockbuster space movie.
Yeah. I can't wait to see the new Galaxy movie.
Everything changes.
Yeah, and it's not short. I mean, as far as ads are concerned, it's
and you can sign up to be notified on May 3rd. But you know what? If you read Engadget, I bet Dana's compatriots will tell you what happens without you having to be marketed to by Samsung.
I'm sorry?
I'm guessing that you guys will cover the announcement on May 3rd without having to go. People would not have to go to thenextgalaxy.com and sign up.
Oh, you bet. We'll tell you about the announcement. We've been following these leaks very carefully, but what's hilarious is that all of these leaks have turned out to be blatantly false. We've seen leaked photos that so far were just older Samsung phones stretched in Photoshop to look like something with a bigger screen. we'll be as curious as anyone. I don't know if I've seen a product so far that has been, or lately, that has been this well guarded. Can you guys think of anything?
I mean, it's Apple-like, the way they have shrouded this in mystery, and the public hilariously is responding. Samsung has a little bit of a reputation for doing things the way Apple does sometimes, and they're doing it with this. Although I've never seen Apple execute a sign-up page with a teaser video.
No, but they also
involving sheep.
Apple's not above knocking the competition. They're really famous with that, with the OS 10 and Windows, and there was all the PC Mac ads. So for everyone who says Samsung's taking unfair shots at Apple with the sheep elements or the ridiculous note commercials, and I'm calling them ridiculous, it's standard warfare for these companies. You just kind of knock the other guys down. Hopefully, people realize that you're still any good.
I just love I love the sheep part of it, as if I'm it's supposed to rile me up.
Yeah.
How do you feel?
Does anyone
iPhone user
care when someone's like, you've got the same phone as a lot of other people?
Actually, aren't all the sheep then the Android users? Because they're like over 50% of the market?
No, because there's so many different Android phones.
Yeah.
It's the actual device.
It's a lot of black
Just like
sheep,
there are
white
so
sheep.
many different kinds of wool. Like there's merino wool.
Right.
That's a different.
So we shouldn't categorize all sheep together. Is what you're saying.
Exactly. Not all sheep are sheeple.
Sheep are awesome. Whatever, Samsung.
Go sheep.
How ineffective can you be?
All right, we're going to get to the news views in just a second, but I want to thank our other sponsor for today's show, ShareFile from Citrix. Everybody's experienced the problem emailing a big file, maybe to a client, maybe to a friend, and it's way too big to attach. If you're sending it to a client and you need it to be confidential, there's no good way to do it securely using your email program. And if you're out of the office and you want to access a spreadsheet or a PowerPoint presentation, it's on your work computer. How do you do that? Well, I got the solution for you. All of those problems can be solved by ShareFile from Citrix. Unlike other services, ShareFile was designed for business users, so it's professional. It's not just, here's a folder that you can stick a bunch of stuff into. You can, first of all, send files of almost any size, including a link to that file to your client that only the client can use, but they don't have to sign up for this service. They'll be able to get the file. Access your files from any computer or mobile device, cross platforms. ShareFile enhances your workflow easily and securely. I've used it a few times, actually, to send confidential material to people. I have a ShareFile account, and I've received material. And the best part is, even though I have a ShareFile account, I didn't even know that I had my ShareFile account. When I click the link, I put in the password provided, and I'm off to the races. To get you started, we have a great offer for our listeners, a 30-day free trial plus double storage. That's a pretty good deal. If you've got a small business or you're a freelancer and you need professional quality storage solutions, you got to try it out today. In order to get this special offer, visit sharefile.com, click on the radio microphone, and enter our promo code TNT. Remember that. Visit sharefile.com, type in TNT, and we thank ShareFile and Citrix for their support of Tech News Today. Time now to move on to the news views. Dramatic news views. That fresh-cut grass smell can only mean one thing. It's lawn mowing season. Wait, maybe two things. Baseball season, maybe three things. Earnings season. Netflix announced its quarterly financials with revenue at $870 million with a loss of 8 cents a share, which beat expectations. Good news for Netflix. Netflix also announced that it had 23.41 million subscribers in the U.S. with 26 million worldwide, so subscribers went up. Good news for Netflix. Wall Street's, of course, reacted to this number by shares dropping in after-hours trading.
Wait, why?
I don't know. Okay. They still mad about Quickster, I guess.
Microsoft's Skype division blessed Windows Phone with an official version of Skype today. The app is available for free. It'll offer video and voice calls on Wi-Fi and cellular networks. However, Skype will only work on Windows Phone 7.5 Mango. Tango users, you're out of luck, at least for now. If you can run the app, it does have some limitations. It can't send SMS, and it can't retrieve Skype voice messages.
According to Bit9, a security firm, IT professionals are most concerned from attacks from hacktivist groups like Anonymous. However, more money is being spent on the prevention of phishing attacks and malware instead of addressing hacktivist attack mainstays like SQL injections and DDoS attacks. IT security also told Bit9 that their biggest concern was infrastructure servers like DNS servers, domain controllers, and credential servers.
The days of the 17-inch MacBook Pro may be drawing to a close.
Ooh, I'm about to have a little relic from the past.
According to KGI securities analyst Ming-Chi Kuo, Apple will likely stop making the 17-inch notebook this year, citing lack of shipments. Kuo also accurately predicted the death of the white plastic MacBook. So she's got a track record. Rumors place the next line of MacBook Pros to hit the market as soon as this month.
I have to be honest, even though it's nice to have that big screen, most of the time it makes no sense for something that you're carrying around with
Really hard to fit in a pocket.
Yeah, very. You really have to have big pants. Asus officially launched the Transformer Pad 300 into space now. Not into space, on land. Spec rundown time, 10.1-inch screen with a 1280 by 800 resolution, quad-core 1.2 gigahertz Tegra 3 processor, and ice cream sandwich. 16 gig model is $379, but for $20 more, you get 32 gigabytes of storage. The tablet will come in 3 colors, red and white later this year, with the blue version coming first.
You guys tested this out at Engadget. You reviewed it. What did you guys think?
It's a really good deal for what it is. I mean, is it the best tablet on the market? No way. But for less than $400, it's probably it's a great Android tablet. It's probably the best tablet you can get for that price. Partly because the battery life is great, partly because the design is a little bit more polished, but also just the possibilities inherent in buying that extra dock. Albeit you have to pay an extra $150 for the dock, but at least you get not just a keyboard dock, but also basically an external battery with extra ports and memory card, an extra memory card slot and whatnot. So I think for that price and for that screen size, it's the best you can do, definitely right now.
On to some more security news. Russian security firm Dr. Web says that the number of Mac OS X machines that are infected with flashback is still around 650,000. Now, this number is contrary to that of Symantec and Kaspersky, which claimed the number had diminished substantially. However, Symantec's Liam O. Murchu said that Dr. Web's numbers are accurate after comparing some analytic data. Apple has released a malware removal tool, so if you want to get rid of it, go check your software update.
Verizon's Droid Doze site just unveiled the new Droid Incredible 4G LTE by HTC. It comes with a dual-core 1.2 gigahertz processor, 1 gigabyte of RAM, 8 gigabytes of internal storage, and a 4-inch QHD LCD display. Site showed a $299 price tag as well. However, the page for the new Incredible is no longer available, so that might have been an accidental dough.
Remember DNS Charger?
Yeah.
Anybody?
Changer. DNS Changer?
Changer.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
That didn't charge anything, actually. The opposite. It's the botnet that the FBI shut down in Estonia, but the FBI kept certain servers running to allow infected machines to still have proper internet access. Well, the FBI is no longer going to act as the middleman as of July 9th. So if your machine is still infected with DNS Changer, you may lose internet access on that date. So if you want to check if your machine is infected, and you should, go to dcwg.org.
Let's move on to the randomizer.
Oh, sorry. That's wrong.
That was quite random.
That's the calendar. That's coming up. A little peek into our future.
Yes.
The Valve employee manual has been making its rounds around the internet this weekend. I don't know where it got linked to first, but I saw it on Boing Boing. And it's quite hilarious. There's the Valve organizational chart, which shows Gabe Newell at the top and then everyone else below him in diagram 1. And then there's diagram 2. I don't know what this refers to, but it shows everyone and then someone named Chet down and below. It's as hilarious as you would expect the folks who brought you Portal to make a hilarious organizational chart. Now, he doesn't say anything about Half-Life in here, but apparently there's some rumors about that in other places. But if this is real, which I think it is, he basically says people in Valve just pick what project they want to work on, and then they work on it. And the way projects get greenlit at Valve is you get enough people to work on them.
It seemed very empowering. I was reading it. It's like, quote, if you're working here, that means you're good at your job. People are going to want to work with you, work with them on their projects, and they'll try hard to get you to do so. I mean, like we were talking about other employee manuals. They're like, okay, don't say this to the other person. Don't come in late. Don't do this. This is very like, you're here. You're great. Let's work on something neat.
Yeah, that sounds like a really amazing job. Sometimes I say we have the best jobs ever, but Valve sounds like a really awesome place to work.
Valve pays
do whatever you want.
Valve pays people very well compared to industry norms. Our profitability per employee is higher than that of Google or Amazon or Microsoft, and we believe strongly that the right thing to do in that case is to put the maximum amount of money back into each employee's pocket. Sometimes things around the office can seem a little too good to be true. If you find yourself walking down the hall one morning with a bowl of fresh fruit and Stumptown roasted espresso, dropping off your laundry to be washed, and heading into one of the massage rooms, don't freak out. All these things are here for you to actually use. And don't worry that someone's going to judge you for taking advantage of it. Relax. And if you stop on the way back from your massage to play darts or work out in the Valve gym or whatever, it's not a sign that this place is going to come crumbling down like some 1999 era .com startup.
Yet.
So they're totally getting brainwashed. There's always a catch. Stay away from Valve.
Data, did you get a chance
cult.
to look at any of these things? There's also some hilarious methods to working without a boss or various, like, it's almost like patent illustration stuff. Did you get a chance to look at this?
A little bit, yeah. It's really hilarious. I wish AOL had something like this for sure.
Yeah, I wish any employee manual read like this. It sounds like they hired a good writer, if nothing else. And I like the stuff about, please, we make these benefits available for you to use. Because at CNET, Jason, you can back me up at this, there was a foosball table, and there were cheap sodas, and they had lots of cool benefits. But some of that stuff, like the foosball table, there was definitely the feeling of like, ooh, I don't want to get caught using it.
Yeah, there were all those things, but I don't know if I ever once felt like, all right, you know what? Now's a good time to go play it. I can probably get away with that. I don't know. Not that I was being totally judged, for doing something like that.
Yeah, but same thing.
It's just like a work ethic in that place.
No one reassured me that it was okay the way this employee manual does.
Totally.
So. All right, let's take a quick break and thank Citrix also for sponsoring us with GoToMeeting. Being able to attach a face to a name is important. It enhances your relationships, enhances the way business is done. Unfortunately, meeting all of your clients and colleagues in person in this day and age is pretty much impossible. They're scattered all over the globe. That's the awesome thing about the internet, but it makes it hard to meet. That's why we recommend GoToMeeting with HD Faces. It lets you meet face-to-face from anywhere in the world, even on the go from an iPad. With GoToMeeting by Citrix, you just take a webcam, you click to collaborate in a group. You got that HD video. You can see your attendees eye to eye. You can collaborate on documents, share screens in real time, see their reactions, see that nonverbal communication. Plus, GoToMeeting is super easy to set up and to use. We use it for meetings here at TWiT. I can tell you how great it is. HD video is so clear. The iPad app is terribly convenient. I've used it for all kinds of meetings, and you can too. Start hosting your own face-to-face online meetings today with GoToMeeting. Our audience gets to try it free for 30 days. Here's what you do. GoToMeeting.com. That's GoToMeeting.com. Click the Try It Free button and use the promo code TNT. Once again, that promo code's TNT. Try it now. Free for 30 days. No risk. And thanks to GoToMeeting and Citrix for their support of Tech News Today. And now the calendar.
Yay.
7 years ago today, the very first YouTube video was uploaded. It was titled Me at the Zoo, and it shows co-founder Joed Karim at the San Diego Zoo, and the video's still up, and quite a few people have watched it.
Cool thing
It's a nice old video. YouTube, happy 7th birthday. Speaking of birthdays, well, anniversaries, really, it is the 30th anniversary of Sinclair's ZX Spectrum. That was a microcomputer launched back in 1982 by Sinclair Research. They're from Cambridge in the UK. The machine is thought of by many to have inspired a whole generation of programmers, game designers, software designers across the pond. Tomorrow, Apple earnings predictions. You think they're going to make it?
They're going to be
After
just
all,
slightly up, and everyone's going to panic.
Yeah. And they'll say, finally, the tides have turned. Post-Jobs era, the cracks are showing.
Right. They only met analyst expectations. They didn't exceed them.
By 400%.
They're done.
They're over.
It's all over.
Yes. And finally, starting on Wednesday, April 25th, a 3-day Next Web conference starts in Amsterdam. Seems like they have a pretty good crew of people who are going to be speaking at that event.
Scoble's there. Nice.
Yeah.
All right, let's check the feedback.
Incoming message.
We have an incoming message. Josh Kaywood wrote in with his attempt at a good metaphor for APIs. We've been talking about APIs in relation to the Oracle-Google case. Josh says the implementation of APIs changes across language, but they can all be boiled down to one specific fact. APIs are just an agreed-upon location in memory where a programmer can call upon it and either give data, receive data, or both. Think of it like this. Here we go. See if this metaphor works for you guys. All right? There are two neighborhoods. Let's call one G neighborhood and the other O neighborhood. Neighborhood O has a specific place for an ice cream truck to park right across from the school. If the neighborhood kids want to get chocolate, they need to go to the ice cream truck across from the school. Now, neighborhood G looks at that and says, hey, we want to allow our kids similar access, but they don't feel like retraining kids since a lot of them came from Neighborhood C. So Neighborhood G parks a chocolate ice cream truck in front of their school. Or actually, I think he meant O. They come from Neighborhood O. So they're like, look, the ice cream truck's going to be right across from the school, just like it was in Neighborhood O. Basically, Oracle is suing Google for parking Google's ice cream truck in front of their school. The fundamental fact is that APIs are meant to be shared. If that changes, it will have grave effect on programming.
Unless the location was copyrighted, excuse me. Apparently, that's the whole API argument, right? You can't do that.
Can you copyright the location of your ice cream truck?
I don't know. Maybe if you wrote it down in a book. I don't know if that would even work. The metaphor kind of breaks apart because I don't think you can do that with real stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the metaphor is because it's like you could own that parking space somehow and not let the area, but that doesn't work when you're talking about code.
Well, and if you're wondering, gee, you didn't cover the Google Oracle trial in day 6, why not? It was another computer science class today, apparently. Mm-hmm. They talked about object-oriented programming and APIs and basically brought the jury up to speed. These jurors are going to go get jobs programming after this trial.
I know everything anyway. Why not?
They're going to be developers.
Which chocolate is better in the chocolate trucks? They're starting it with the same base ingredients.
Well, one's got a chocolate.
But then there's a slightly different flavor.
One's got a chocolate Java taste, right?
One's more of a chocolate malt.
One's more of a Dalvik taste. It's very different.
Next email from Trevor Smith writes, "Hi, TNT crew. I've been a huge fan of Google since day one. I've never had a problem until today. About a month ago, I took a picture with my Android phone. The picture involved me killing a spider and performing an inappropriate gesture towards it. I was giving it the bird. I was petrified of spiders, so I had a glorious moment. I proceeded to email that picture from my Android phone as an attachment through my personal Gmail account to my wife in hilarity. So it's a month after that situation, and today I send my wife an email totally unrelated to anything previous. She opens the email from her personal Gmail account. The contact information that shows up on the top right corner showed a recent pictures area showing that picture of me flipping off the spider. That picture was never posted as a profile picture, added to a library album, nothing. I'd even double-checked. It was only sent from that one email. I wasn't even aware that Gmail did things like this. Depending on the situation, it could turn out bad. I would hate for somebody to be looking over her shoulder that I wouldn't want to see this inappropriate picture. Worst part is I have no control over it whatsoever. This is now changing my feelings towards Google. Google Plus advertisements are everywhere, and we're already testing my nerves." Okay, so I kind of understand the issue that if two pictures are unrelated, they just shouldn't be, grouped together in any sort of way. But somebody looking over wife's shoulder seeing the spider picture could have happened the first time she opened the email.
It's just a feature of Gmail. I would say use a client or something. Dana, what do you think of this?
It doesn't... doesn't seem any worse or any more.
It's not like a privacy violation.
It's right. It doesn't seem any more invasive than the universal privacy policy that was recently that Google recently rolled out, which basically combines all these Google services into one happy alphabet soup. So given that and given how well publicized that is, I don't think this doesn't feel like a violation. And maybe I'm just really immune to the way Google does things, but it doesn't at all surprise me that Google is aware of photos I took and, the people I sent them to even a month earlier. It's totally is not surprising to me.
I was thinking the same thing as you. I'm like, am I just immune now to Google doing stuff like this? But it is a photo that this person sent to one other person, and all it's doing is saying, hey, here's recent stuff from the person you just got another email from, which could be helpful in a lot of situations.
Yeah, if Google censored the image, there'd be another person screaming about that. You saw what I had there. How dare you censor it? We're totally fine with it. So the other thing is, if you're afraid of this kind of stuff, Trevor, make sure that your Google Plus app doesn't upload stuff automatically. If you have Photo Stream on iOS, make sure it doesn't go to your Apple TV automatically. There's a whole bunch of ways you can accidentally show things you don't want to.
Echo in the chat room actually says Gmail, settings, general, my picture, people widget, turn them off.
Turn it off. There you go.
There you go.
Or don't use Gmail.
Yeah.
There's lots of other good free email services out there. So anyway, Trevor, we do thank you for the email. It was a good one. And thanks to all the folks in our subreddit for submitting stories and letting us know what things they'd like us to cover at technewstoday.reddit.com. And Dana Wollman, thank you so much for joining us today. It was great to meet you, and can't wait to have you back.
Thank you for having me.
Let folks know, obviously, Engadget.com is the place to find your work. But anything about what you got coming up, or they can follow you on Twitter, any stuff like that?
Well, my Twitter name is just my full name. It's Dana Wollman, and lots coming up at Engadget. Definitely, we're expanding our reviews program. So if you liked our reviews, you're going to see plenty more of them coming up in the coming weeks and months. And that's definitely my specialty, is reviews and long form, hands-on stuff like that. So yeah, stay tuned. A lot of changes there.
All right. Thank you, folks, for watching or listening. You can find us on the web at twit.tv/TNT. You can email us, tnt@twit.tv, or give us a call. Our phone number is 260-TNT-SHOW. That does it for us for Monday, but we will be back tomorrow. That is both a promise and a threat. See you then.